Hello everyone, in this tutorial I'm gonna show you how you can output the time and the day of the week using a script. Okay, so here is the script patch and we're gonna receive the day of the week and the time. Right now here it's 6:37 p.m. and I set this little logic here to show the good afternoon message between between 12 p.m. and 19 p.m. So if you want to create one filter that changes according to the time, this is the right tutorial for you, okay? And also, let me hide this good afternoon message. And also, if you want to create one filter that changes according to the day of the week, that's also the right tutorial for you, because that's what we are doing right now, okay? So there are many fun filters that you can do using this idea. You can use this kind of filter for a restaurant, for example, that has different menu each day. So it's gonna show the menu depending on the day of the week. You can set different kind of messages depending on the day, right? So let's get started. Okay, I just opened a new project. And the first thing we do when we are working with a script is to save our file. Okay, so give a name to your project and save it. And before we start coding, I'm gonna drag the textures you're gonna use. So I'm gonna drag here the days of the week. I'm gonna set the compression here to none because I already compressed using another software. And the filtering I'm gonna set to none so we don't lose any quality of our texture. Okay, so now we can finally create our script. Click here in this plus button. And let's choose script. I'm gonna use TypeScript, okay? I prefer using TypeScript because we know the type of the variables we are using. So we create here our script, double click or click here on edit to open your code. And Spark already brings this demo code here, but we're not gonna use it. So I'm gonna delete all these comments to make our code very clean. Oops. And I'm going to import the modules I'm going to use. We won't need this scene module, so I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to import the patches module. We also won't need the reactives module now. I'm going to leave the diagnostics module here so I can check what is inside some variables. And I'm going to also import the time module, okay? And now inside our main function, let's create one function to get the date. So I'm gonna call it get day of the week function. That won't return anything. I'm gonna create a variable to receive the date. Maybe today date. And I'm gonna use the default date library from JavaScript that is called date. So I'm gonna create a new date. When you don't put anything inside the parentheses here, it's gonna bring the date right now. So it's gonna bring this. So it's gonna bring the day and the time when the program runs. Okay. So the next step is to use this variable we created and get the day of the week. So let's create the day of the week variable. And let's get the today date. And we can use this method here called get day. This method is gonna bring one number from 0 to 6, depending on the day of the week. It's gonna start on Sunday, so when it's Sunday, it's gonna return 0, and when it's Saturday, it's gonna return 6. And after that, we can use the patches module to send this value to our patch editor. So let's use patches.inputs. And because it's gonna send one number, we're gonna use the set scalar method. And here we have to create a name for this input. So I'm gonna name it day of the week. And let's send our signal. That's gonna be the day of the week variable we just created. And we're basically done here. Let's test it. So I'm gonna use here the diagnostics module so you can see what is inside the day of the week variable. So diagnostics.log and day of the week. And don't forget, I almost forgot to call the function. Get day of the week. And let's save. Control S, save. Let's go to Spark. I'm gonna save here. And you receive this error message because we need to create one patch from our script. So here, where it says from script, let's create a number. Remember, we are receiving on a scalar, so it's a number. And here we have to use the same name we used here, okay, to identify this variable. So it's gonna be day of the week. Remember, it's case sensitive, okay? So you need to be very careful and pay attention to this detail. Day of the week. Yeah, I think it's right. And now I can create the patch. Click here to create a patch. And now I have this patch that comes from our script. And here we have the output day of the week. And depending on the number that comes here, we're gonna set our texture. Okay, just to make sure, I'm gonna use this value node. And here it's returning the number 4. Because today here is a Thursday, that's why it's returning a 4. However, sometimes this date comes wrong. Like as soon as we open the filter on Instagram, this date comes wrong. I'm gonna try to restart here and see if it returns the wrong date. Right now, because I'm recording this, it's always coming the right date. But to make sure it always returns the right date, I like to do this. No, that's why I import the time module here. I like to use this setTimeout. Okay, so time.setTimeout. That's gonna call a function after 1 second of when we open the effect. So I'm gonna type here 1000 because it means 1000 milliseconds. Okay, so 1 second. And let me remove this parenthesis here. And now you're done. This way I make sure the value always comes right. At least that's the way I'm doing with all my filters where I work with dates. So now I can use this value to choose the texture you're gonna show in our screen. So let me just create a rectangle here very quickly. Fill width, fill height, create a material, day of the week material. And let's receive the textures here. I'm gonna get one option picker patch. It's gonna be of type texture. And I'm gonna add all the textures here. Starting with Sunday, because it's gonna be the number 0, right? Sunday, Monday, and Saturday. Okay, I'm gonna connect here. And then I can connect here the output to our option picker. Because it's stretching the texture, I'm gonna change here the size. Instead of relative, I'm gonna set as fixed and make it a square. Because my texture is a square. Okay, and I'm gonna set it in the middle. That's it, guys. Depending on the day of the week, the texture is gonna change. Okay, if it's Friday, it would be Friday here. And because today is Thursday, when I'm recording this, it's showing here Thursday. But you can be creative and make any type of filter where you're gonna require this information, the day of the week information. One time, one client asked me for a filter like this because he wanted to make a filter for the gym where he would check mark each day of the week where he went to the gym. Okay, so that's a good idea as well. And now let's move on to the other project, that is to get the time of the day. So let's go back here to our script. It's very simple. You can use the same code. The only difference is because instead of using the get day method, you're gonna use get hours. So I'm gonna create here a variable to get the time. I'm gonna get to the date dot get hours. So here it says it's gonna get the hours in a date using the lockout time. And now we have the time here. Make sure it's returning the right time. I'm gonna use here the diagnostic log. And let's check if you're receiving the right time. I'm gonna save it. And I'm gonna update, restart here. It seems it's not updating. Saved. I'm gonna close and open it again, the project, okay? Okay, open again, now it's returning the time. Don't know why sometimes this happens, I don't know if it's a bug, but after restarting the code is back to normal. And also sometimes this happens, it shows that there is an error and it's not finding the modules, but the code is working, okay? So now let's also input the time to our patch editor. So patch.inputs dot, it's gonna be a number as well, set scalar. I'm gonna name it time, and I'm gonna send the time number. Okay, I'm gonna save. And here we have to update our patch. So we have to come here to from script, create another variable here, another number, and we're gonna name it time. So it already updates here, automatic updates. There is the time output with the current time. And it's not returning. What is happening? Oh, there's an error here. I forgot to put one S. So save. And now it's working. Yeah, now it's returning 22 because it's 10 p.m. here when I'm recording this video. So the time is right. And with the time information, you can do whatever you want. You can change the filter color like the LUT. Depending on the time, when it's in the morning, you use one LUT, when it's afternoon, another one, and so on. Or you can also output one message here saying good morning between 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. You know, this kind of things. But the hard part of this kind of effect is just to create the code here, right? For people who aren't used to code, who doesn't know JavaScript. That's the way you can get the time, the day of the week, and the hours. So that's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, okay? And comment as well. I've been making more tutorials about Effect House than Spark AR. So if you'd like me to make more tutorials about Spark AR, comment here, okay? So bye, see you next time.